The purpose of my research is to quantify bird-related damages to vineyards and observe the change in bird activity. But before we get there, let's think a little bit about why birds are choosing grapes as a food source. What do we know about grapes? Well, for starters, they make wine. They're tasty. They have natural sugars. Depending on the grape type, they can be a number of different colors, like greens, blues, reds, and they're grown in vineyards. These colored berries stand out against their contrasting backgrounds, which makes them easily visible. So imagine you're a bird, you're flying around, and spot 20 acres of juicy red grapes below you, ripe for the picking. How could anyone possibly resist? As a vineyard manager, you'd obviously want to protect your crop from hungry birds, which is done through various techniques like bird netting. But arguably, one of the most important aspects of protection is preparedness. So I wanted to work with different local wineries to see if I could find a correlation between the grapes' changing color and the bird damage that's sustained. And maybe by doing this, I can help vineyard managers be prepared for the inevitable arrival of the birds. Now, as they grow, grapes go through a process called veraison, which simply put is the period of time when they increase in sugars, and if they're red wine grapes, they have this drastic color change and go from green to deep reds or purples over just a couple weeks. This time is particularly important because it's likely the beginning of bird arrival in the vineyards. I spent 5 months in the field and recorded how and when the grapes changed in size and color. I used bird counts to monitor the change in activity through the season and recorded the different effects of bird damage on hundreds of grape clusters throughout the vineyards. As we expected, the change in grape color sparked an increase in birds in the vineyards, and consequently, there was more bird related damage present after this period. Now, my results for this chapter are still preliminary, but from what we've looked at so far, the red grapes seem to attract more birds than the green grapes because they experienced more damage. But something we found very interesting was that the surroundings, like fields, trees, or hydro wires even, could play a role in how heavily the adjacent grapes are targeted. So while there are general patterns that apply across vineyards, each individual location needs to be aware of their surroundings in order to protect their crop. The more that managers understand about birds in their area, the better they can predict when bird predation will reach its peak, so they can have those protective measures in place. During my field season, I saw a vineyard decimated by thousands of starlings in just a single day. So having proper deterrents like bird netting in place at the right time can be the difference between losing 5% of your crop and 95%. And of course, if more grapes are harvested, the more award winning wines will be produced from Essex County. Thank you.